Hey guys, so here we are on the new map Alpine Run, and I'm just going to start off going over the bug fixes and just general changes for update 7.0. Obviously, if you haven't seen the content video I did, check that out, very last one I did, so you should have watched it, right? And so yeah, starting on bugs, we've got a new icon, not a bug of course. And just to celebrate the holidays, had a few UI changes. We had the daily challenges menu fixed, so it refreshes and loads in the advanced challenge without you having to restart the game. I don't know how perfect that is, but it should work. Your currently selected hero should now actually be your currently selected hero most of the time, but it's broken for Azili. Fantastic. So you might sometimes see a different hero selected when you actually have Azili selected. But it's fine when you're actually in the game, it's just the outer UI. Just general more UI fixes. So, more UI fixes, annoying stuff. We made an attempt here to try and fix the InstaMonkey collection in the main menu. Can't show that here, of course, but for some devices, you would open your InstaMonkey collection in the main menu and it would just be blank. Hopefully that's fixed. Let me know if it is fixed, if you had a lot, and let me know if it isn't fixed. Preferably tell me that it's fixed, because that's what I want to hear. Visual issues on Ouch, nothing big deal. So, supply drops should actually not be deleted at the end of the round. That was a big one that's been going on for a while. I'm not sure about that. So definitely tell me what your results are if you use them a lot. I'll try and use them a bit more since they've been buffed as well. But they shouldn't be deleted at the end of the round anymore. That'd be great. There was a bug with buying and reselling aircraft carrier. That's been fixed. Mortar Monkey just had some art fixes. There was a bug with the Mortar Monkey where if you bought the biggest one on the top half, tier 5, the range would not increase. The radius of the blast would not increase. That was actually a bug. It was intended to increase. So it's a lot bigger now. So that should help a lot. It's also been buffed in damage, so it's pretty decent now. Yes, the heavy shells was not applying Burny stuff to black balloons when you crossed past it with the Burny stuff. So like 032 mortar wasn't burning them for some reason. That's been good. The tier 5 middle path, the ability on the mortar would sometimes play sound even though your sound was muted. No idea why that happened, but hopefully that is fixed now as well. Shattering shells description was fixed. We can go in there. Very minor. It now says all but the biggest of balloons because it's kind of quirky in that it works on Moabs and BFBs but nothing above that. So it works on Moabs but not all Moabs, so The Wall of Fire on the Wizard Monkey, it can actually pop purple balloons now if you have it under an MIB. There was something weird going on there, which is now fixed. The Ninja's Grand Saboteur, it used to trigger and damage everything on screen when you activated it. That's not intended. It should only damage them as they spawn, but it still slows them if they're on screen when you use it. A weird bug with the Sun Temple where it was discounting itself for the tier 5. I don't know, I could never reproduce that myself, but apparently that happened. So there's been a kind of a buff to the Spike Storm and Carpet of Spikes here because they were doing 1 less damage on Moabs than they should have. Just on the actual ability itself and the kind of periodic Spike Storm that the Carpet of Spikes has. For some reason, they were just doing 1 less damage. The main attack was fine, but the abilities would do 1 less. So, that's a lot stronger now. On the Carpet of Spikes specifically, there was a bug where it was not doing a +1 damage because it actually had +1 damage above the tier 4 as well to all of its attacks, and that was also not working. So the Carpet of Spikes should be a lot more powerful now, +2 damage to a lot of things, +1 to some things, and yeah, it should be better. Description update for Monkey City, not a big deal. Striker Jones description updates, and that's all the boring stuff about bug. Oh, not all of those are boring, but that's just the bug fixes and stuff. Onto the actual balance changes, and let's put stuff down and look around. And so we're only looking at the tier 5 here. Ultra Juggernaut, it was increased in damage. It used to be 3 damage, and this was times 3 to ceramics. Now it's 4 damage and still times 3. So it went from 9 damage to ceramics to 12. So if I send this now, okay, that was fortified. Let's send a non-fortified. There, so it takes it straight down to blacks and whites. So a pretty big buff to this guy. And we've already been seeing a lot of love on the top path Dart Monkey now because of the Ricochet fix. I am very excited by this. Tier 5 Crossbow Master, $2,000 cheaper. Boomerang Thrower, let's just jump in to hit this. There's a lot going on here. So this was buffed from 20% to 25%. I'm not sure if I mentioned yet, the descriptions, I did mention in the last video, descriptions are a bit behind because they need to be translated for like 16 different languages, and that takes a while. And we can't just change one at a time, it just doesn't work. So that's why it still says 20. This upgrade, boomerangs travel around faster. This also applies another 25%. So these two upgrades are now a total of 50% faster throwing. And this was also increased in price, but it's well worth it. It was only 130 more expensive now. The Red Hot Rings upgrade. Not only does this allow you to pop frozen and lead, but it adds +1 damage to your boomerang. And the Kylie itself already did +1 damage to your boomerang, but now it doesn't get that. So the +1 starts at here rather than here. So Kylie is exactly the same, but as if you're cross-pathing onto Red Hot Rings with any of the top paths, they will now get +1 damage. And the Kylie itself is a little bit cheaper now because of this. So cheaper Kylies and more expensive Red Hot Rings, I think. Nope, they're the same, never mind. Mob Domination, the tier 5. This was significantly buffed, in my opinion. The damage was increased from 7 to 12. The price was decreased from 75,000 to 60,000, so 15,000 cheaper. And the special attack, which knocks back Moabs, the range was reduced from being unlimited down to 100 range, which is actually a lot of range. So I'll just put this guy here. So base Dart Monkey has 32 range. And about there. So that's 100 range right there. From the bottom of the screen up to, black. So that's roughly 100 range because these are all 32. So that's 32 times 3 and a little bit more. So from the bottom of the screen up to this boomerang here, that's 100 range. It's not much of a nerf. And this isn't even a nerf in my opinion, because the reason this happened is because there was a freaking annoying occurrence where if you got a Moab Domination, it would constantly stun lock a Moab at the entrance and your round would never end. And this was just frustrating as all hell. So now you can just kind of place him a little bit further back from the entrance, like an attack from there, like down to there or something, if the entrance was here, for example. And you're not gonna stun lock crap at the entrance. You can actually have a defense here and damage it. So it's not much of a nerf. I don't know why people are saying it's a nerf. They just don't know the range values, I guess. But for reference, Dart Monkeys have 32 range. So 100 range is like 3 Dart Monkeys end on end and a little bit more. It's a lot. Delete all this stuff. Another fun one. This upgrade, wait, not this one. This upgrade got +1 damage. Send a couple ceramics. Turn off that regrow before I hurt myself. It takes them out pretty quick. So obviously I did 3 hits, so that's like 9 damage. It already had 2 from the tier 3, so now the tier 4 does 3 damage total. And when you get the tier 5, this also gets +1 again, and it now does 4 damage. So if I send a bunch of these, it shreds them real quick. Yep. So this now has 4 damage plus 6 to Moabs, so it does 10 damage to Moabs per hit. If I send a few Moabs here, Burn, 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 you're gone. They do not last. No. Move faster, BFBs. Move faster to your demise. Yeah. It's more of a mode popper, and the bottom path is more of a regular balloon popper. Unless you've got like support adding a lot of damage to it. So this is where people get confused, because it was the opposite in BTD5, where the Ring of Fire was kind of better against regular balloons because of the pierce, and the tack sprayer, which was actually on the same path, was better for Moabs because of the more tacks. Now it's the opposite, because this one does much more increased damage to Moabs, and the bottom path just hits more because it has so many tacks and all around it. But they're both really good at everything now, so so just use both of them. It's great. Now, Bomb Shooter top path was not popular compared to the others at all, and probably still won't be too good comparatively to the bottom path, which just works well with Alchemist now. But if we go on top path, this tier 3 is a lot cheaper. Went from 1500 to 1200. Balloon Impact now does +1 damage, so it doesn't only add a stun to the tower, it adds a stun and it also does +1 damage, which brings it up to 3 damage per hit, so 33% increase. Get that. And the Balloon Crush, which was already 6 damage before, has been increased to 12 damage. So it's kind of like a mini Moab Mauler, except much more expensive. But that basically means, like, I mean, if we send some Moabs at it now, not only does it stun them, it can actually kind of damage them. It wouldn't really do much before. It would slowly damage them, but here, like, I can actually break regular Moabs. So it's nice. It can kind of do a bit more. I mean, double damage, it didn't have too much, so that's not massively significant, but it is actually very nice to actually be able to hurt things with this. And as you can see, I can't really solo the BFB, but this is also a terrible spot for it. Get rid of all these. Ice Monkey got a lot of love. So the middle path of the Ice Monkey, which was never really seeing much use, well, comparatively to BTD5, where it was really overpowered and always saw use. So we go up to Arctic Wind. The price was decreased from 6,500 to 5,000, so pretty good there. The tier 4 Snowstorm now gets much more radius. Bam, that's, yeah, from 20 to 30 radius. And for reference, yeah, Dart Monkey's 32, that's 30. The Absolute Zero was decreased quite a lot, from 32,000 to 26,000, and it also had its attack radius increased by another 10, so there you go, 40 radius. And the slowing aura on the Absolute Zero was also increased from 50 to 60. So your ceramics kind of get a little bit stuck. If you have it placed in a better spot, obviously to do much better. Nowhere near as overpowered as it was in BTD5, but if we give it this and a little bit of attack speed there, you can afford that by now, of course. Give it a little jungle drums. So we send some ceramics, and it can really kind of deal with them fine. And wow, that radius. And all that radius gets frozen water as well if you place it near water. Monkey Buccaneer. So this was not a big deal. The carrier flagship's always been good, but they kind of, if you place your flagship near the edge of the map, sometimes the projectiles would expire before they reached the other side of the screen. So they don't anymore. They have twice as much lifespan, so you'll pretty much never see them expire unless they're off screen, which you don't see anyway, so yeah. Forgot to account that this doesn't have any water on this map, so I can't show that, and I also can't show the monkey sub, but if we go in the monkey sub, so the base sub only had 1 pierce before, it now has 2 pierce, which is very nice. I'm wondering if this will actually make Muddy Puddle's chimps a bit easier at the start. I don't know if it'll make it possible, probably not, but it could be interesting to see if we can actually make it past round 9. If you want to try that, feel free. I might at some point, but as my holiday's coming up, I'm probably going to be playing balloons. Never mind. So, Energizer. The radiation damage ring was increased from 1 damage to 3 damage. Not huge. I mean, it's 3 times damage. This is more of a group popper. It's just something to kind of help it out a bit since it's expensive and you're only really paying to get a free play buff. So now, hey, it can actually help you maybe a little bit before free play if you've got a lot of extra money from farming or something. Quite a helpful buff here. The armor-piercing darts. So these were never worth the cost. You'd always get just another triple guns. You'd spam the triple guns. But the armor-piercing darts now, their main dart was increased from 1 to 2 damage. So what this means is before, it says it does more damage to Moab class balloons. So before it would do 1 damage to Moabs, 2 damage to Moabs because it would do 1+1, and then the burst after that would only do 1 damage to regular balloons. So it has +1 to all damage now. So this means it now does 2 damage to regular balloons, but if it hits a Moab, it will do 4 damage because it's doing 2 times 2. It's multiplying by 2 rather than +1. So it's twice as effective against Moabs and twice as effective against regular balloons. So it should actually be a worthwhile upgrade now. And with Sub Commander, hell yeah. Sniper Monkey. We got some buffs on the top and middle path here. So top path, when you get to tier 4, main Moab, all it added was the sun. So similar to Balloon Impact, we got a damage buff here as well. So this was increased from 18 damage to 30 damage. So if I send a fortified ceramic, I can take it out in 2 hits, and you can't see it because it popped off screen. Actually, 1 hit. Oh, right. That's even better than I thought. So, usually you can 1-hit regular ceramics. Now you can 1-hit fortified ceramics. Good stuff. Tier 5 was increased to 60 damage, so I can send a fortified Moab here. And yeah, you didn't really see much there because it died off screen. Send 2 of them. So yeah, obviously it can't deal with groups at all, but it's just a little bit better at doing its job at being a single target kind of focus power rather than just being all support. Because the best part about this tower is obviously that it makes things take more damage from other sources. But now it's just a little bit better. It can kind of hold up on its own a bit more without needing to be pure support. So bouncing bullets was decreased 3,500 to 3,200, small buff. The supply drop was decreased from 8,000 to 7,200, another small drop there, so a total of like 1,100 less. And the elite was decreased from 16,000 to 13,000, so another 3,000 there, so about 4,100 cheaper to get a tier 5 middle path. Pretty significant, and it might make supply drop farming a bit more viable. Probably won't really compare to other things, of course, but it's a damage tower as well as a farming tower, so you can reasonably on easier maps actually solo with snipers. It's possible. Get your heli. So the Poperations Marine just had a cooldown buff. If you haven't tried the Poperations Marine, you really should. It's quite good. It's really quite good. So the trick here is to use an Alchemist. Oh, not a Perma-Brew. You don't need Perma-Brew. So use an Alchemist, and you wait for it to buff your heli. Boom, buffed it. And then you summon your Poperations. And it doesn't actually matter if it's near or not. So, and now I can send, like, that. And it pops the DDT, obviously. The main power about this is it has a lot of pierce. So now I can almost keep it up fully. And it attacks super fast, it does good damage, and it doesn't have much range, but it has huge pierce. So look at that. Fortified Zomjas, I actually did quite good damage to them. And I wait for it to buff again. There we go, buffed. And then summon him. Or her. And I can actually take out 2 Fortified Zomjas. I missed the children, but hey, that's a lot of damage there. That's a lot of damage. And also the bottom path Comanche, this isn't, I mean, I don't think this is going to make too much of a difference, but it might help. The Comanche Defense Tier 4, the cooldown was reduced from 45 seconds to 25 seconds, so almost half cooldown. It's still capped to only spawning once per round though. This is always going to be a stepping stone onto Comanche Commander being great, but we'll see. I mean, we might be able to get more done there in future. For the next one, I am going to go back to my favorite testing map. So the bomber race was buffed a lot, and what I like to do on this map is go 032, 032, 032, 032, and we may as well get a village. I placed these terribly. Can you tell? I hope you can tell. And look at that. I have a ring of bombs, and if I send, I'll take off the fortified. This will shred these. Whoa. See, not even joking, it actually shredded that Moab, or the stack of Moabs. So blast radius was increased from 25 to 35. Cooldown was reduced from, buffed from 3 second to 1.5 second. And the actual damage was increased from 2 to 4. So, yeah. You can actually, on this particular map, and this strategy, just spamming these with some villages, you can solo. I mean, you only need this. You only need 03 to aces. That's all you need to beat this map. I love it. It is great. Yeah, the biggest one on the mortar. Damage was increased from 10 to 20, it's double damage. It's a lot more worth it now. If you like the big one, then the biggest one is better in every way. Permabrew, which I accidentally bought for, price was decreased from 80,000 to 60,000. This isn't meant to bring it into viability in like chimps or like general early game. It's just meant to make it less difficult to get up for free play, because as I said in my previous video, I think, unless I split this one into a few, I don't know. As I said recently, the Permabrew is intended to pretty much be a free play endgame tower, and that's just how it is. But hey, it is cheaper, so hopefully you can do a bit more with that. Small buff, transforming atomic from 5,000 to 4,500. Total transformation from 50,000 to 45,000. The only use that total transformation really seems to get is when combined with Super Monkey Fan Club, which is fine. It's a great synergy and I love it, and I'm not going to change that. But it would be nice if it could kind of stand up on its own a bit better, because people don't really like it on its own, and that's sad because it is a cool ability. Like, just look at this. Look at that. Come on. What's not to love about that? Anyway. So Ninja Master Bomber had a big price decrease, which is enough to kind of get all 3 ninjas up in one game. So it's now 40,000, and it used to be 60,000, so very significant price decrease there. Wizard, Wizard's base price was reduced from 550 to 450. I know that Wizard's good, but the base Wizard was never really good. That's why the base price is cheaper. It's still not really good, but it's a little bit less terrible, right? Dragon's Breath was decreased in price a fair bit, from 3,600 to 3,000. Wall of Fire currently is too strong. It's actually bugged. Sorry, not sure when that started exactly, but it's doing too much damage at the moment. That's probably going to get fixed, but after that I might look at actually buffing it to be similar anyway, because it's just not good to leave it broken in the game. I'd rather fix it and buff it rather than leave it broken. But anyway, Dragon's Breath is where I want to concentrate the buffs on this tower, so if the focus is still mostly on Wall of Fire, then I'm going to want to look at making Dragon's Breath better, because that's what I want you using. And Summon Phoenix decreased from 5,000 to 4,000, another good buff there. Wizard Lord Phoenix decreased from 80,000 to 60,000, another huge buff there. I'm still probably not going to use the Wizard Lord Phoenix. There's a lot more I want to do with this, but we'll have to kind of get there over time. So just patience, right? Oh yeah, gonna throw this guy down. So Spirit of the Forest. Spirit of the Forest gets +1 damage to all attacks. This includes the vine on the ground. This includes the thorns that it throws. All attacks. Which, I mean, great, but you only really care about the floor vines. That's the good part. Which also get +4 damage to ceramics and Moabs. So these now do 6 damage to Moabs and ceramics, and 2 damage to regular balloons. And the vine that it throws out every now and then is about 20% faster, but that's not very significant. What we really want to see is this. Send in the Moabs, and they are all gone rather quickly. Yeah. I am quite excited about that. I think this might be a bit too broken, but then again, on shorter maps, it's really not that broken. So if we send a BFB, I'll send a Zomj. I wonder if we can hit a DDT. Let's give it an MIB. Now let's try a DDT. Yeah, so it's damaging the DDT, but it's not really impacting it. I can't take out DDTs with this. But as you can see, BFB broke. And from the BFB, the children only make it about halfway through the map. So on a shorter map, this is not going to be able to solo BFBs. But on a long map like this, it is fantastic. Wow. And you can combine it with stuff like Glaive Lord and the Ring of Fire. And yeah, it's all good stuff. All good stuff. I just want to see where this Zomj spawns, where this Zomj breaks open and where its children get to. But while we're talking about that, Spike Factory also got buffed on multiple paths. And mostly prices. So go up to here, spiked balls, these were decreased from 2,400 to 2,200, so small buff there. Spiked mines, there's knowledge that makes them even cheaper, but they were decreased from 14,000 to 12,000, so another 2,000 off there. The tier 5 super mines can now pop all balloon types, so there we go. So Zomj breaks is around that MIB, and I cannot break the BFBs. So my Spirit of the Forest is great against anything below Zomjes, but Zomjes themselves, anything higher, nothing too significant. One thing that is fun though is when you combine a Cripple Moab, because the Cripple Moab actually adds the +5 damage to the Moab as well. So actually, let's just do it. Chuck that in. Let's chuck this guy in as well. So the Embrittlement, the Super Brittle and the Cripple Moab, they make things take extra damage. And that guy also stuns, so this is going to be a bit awkward. But when they get to that Super Brittle, they're already quite damaged. I might just sell the sniper and just go on the Super Brittle. Okay, so look at that. Yeah, I'm also taking damage from these probably, but they took a lot of damage anyway. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, so super mines, they pop black balloons. This means that DDTs don't smash through them and destroy all these spikes anymore. And the pierce was increased from 40 to 60. This is another one which the price is not going to go down. It's going to be a free play tower. That's how it is. But it's now got less weakness, I guess. So that's the top path, but we also got some buffs to the bottom path, as well as the bug fixes I mentioned before, which the bug fixes made Moab Shredder better. But now, as well as that, we get to our tier 3, been decreased from 3,000 to 2,500. Spike Storm decreased from 6,000 to 5,000, and Carpenter Spikes decreased from 50,000 to 42,000. So much cheaper here, and it's a bit close, but I do think that the tier 5 is better than just doing a bunch of tier 4s now, because the price, it is a bit too expensive, but it does do +1 damage. If you're looking purely at Moab damage, it might be better to do tier 4s, honestly. But the +1 to all balloon types, which works on ceramics and regular balloons as well, when a lot of your spikes are being eaten by non-Moab class balloons, it actually does make this pull a fair bit ahead. So it kind of depends on your situation. if you can guarantee you're going to hit Moabs, then it's great to hit. Then it's probably great to use the tier 4. But if you're wasting a lot of spikes on ceramics, then yes, you want the tier 5. Yeah, it's better. Banana Farm was nerfed. Can't really show it, but the Monkey Bank was nerfed. The capacity was reduced from 10,000 down to 7,000. And honestly, it's kind of deserved. Yeah. We want all the different Banana Farm paths to be roughly all usable, I guess. And this one was just too dominant. So we'll see how this goes. But along with this, the bottom path has been buffed in the tier 4 and tier 5. Also worth mentioning, sorry, the IMF loan has not been nerfed, so it does still have 10,000 capacity. It's not worth buying just for the 10,000 capacity, but you do get the ability as well. So it's more of a trade-off of like, I am getting a bit more capacity, so it's worth buying to save space, but then I also have the ability anyway, so I may as well use it sometimes. And it's actually a net gain now to use that ability, since the actual upgrade itself is cheap. So anyway, tier 4, boom boom, is now 15,000 down from 18,000, so quite a lot cheaper there. And the tier 5 down from 75,000 to 60,000, so very much a lot cheaper there. Good buffs to the bottom path there. It was they were never as efficient as just using the tier 3 on that path, so it was kind of dumb. But yeah, I don't have Oban. But Oban's slow has been increased greatly on his Nature's Ward totem. So level 4 it used to be 15 up to 30, level 8 used to be 25 up, level 4 up to 30, level 8 from 25 up to 40, level 15 up from 35 to 60. So level 15 Oban has just as much slowing power as the tier 5 absolute 0 Arctic Wind. So that is pretty significant. It doesn't work on Moabs though, so that's your trade-off there. Oban has had his support power kind of almost doubled there, roughly doubled. Doubled at the base tier, the higher tiers not quite doubled. But he's good at dealing with regular balloons. If you're having trouble taking out your ceramics in whatever strategy you're using, then he can help out there. But if you're struggling more on Moabs, then you probably want to use Azili or Gwen, or like Striker. So I think this is healthy, because it's just adding more different ways for different heroes to be good in different situations. So I'm personally seeing that heroes are becoming much more diverse in what you can use effectively, and that's a good thing. That's always a good thing. We need to kind of break Azili in, but I do think Azili is personally my favorite hero in the game, and possibly the best hero in the game. But debatable. Debatable. So anyway, that is the end of the patch notes. I will include these in the description if you want to read over them yourself, rather than listening to me drone on and be annoying. But whatever, hey, if you've got any questions, feel free to ask in the description. If you've already watched this video anyway, my brain is not working. Hey, anyway, do whatever you want, have fun. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you around.